Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video. Do you struggle to paint light convincingly? Do you struggle with this even more when working from reference photos? In today's video, I'm going to give you some simple tips that will help when painting illuminated objects and also show you how to deal with a tricky reference photo. I will be using this recent cat painting I did as an example, so let's get straight into the video. This cat is illuminated by artificial light. As I am working from a reference photo, it makes my job harder because the camera tends to bleach out the colours and leave me with a lot of white. Remember, light is warm even if it's artificial. White is a cool colour. Too much white will leave me with an unconvincing chalky painting. I am going to have to compensate with warm colours like oranges and yellows in my colour mixing. The success of this painting hinges on my colour harmonies, so let's have a look at my palette. I am using cadmium yellow light, yellow ochre light, transparent yellow oxide, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide, cerulean blue, ultramarine deep, and titanium zinc white. I've mixed up a couple of other colours, a black red and a black green. These two mixed together give me my rich black. A purple, 2 oranges and 3 other greens. On my palette I have a warm and cool of every colour. These are my warm colours. These are my cool colours. Understanding where these colours sit on the colour wheel is very important when dealing with a light source. Red will be my warmest colour, blue will be my coolest. White is also a cool colour and cools down all mixes I add to it. In order to describe my light source accurately, I am going to have to use a warm and cool palette effectively. Where I lay a warm colour, I will lay a cooler colour next to it. This continual temperature shift will give me my convincing painting. The easiest way to do this is to use your colour opposites. So where I am working with green, I introduce reds into my shadows. Where I'm working with oranges, I introduce blues into the cooler areas. And where I'm working with purples, I then lay yellows next to it. Colour opposites give you both a warm and cool to work with. Specifically, what colours am I using? This green here is a mix of this standard green. Remember, green is a transitionary colour. It can be both warm and cool. Where I want to make this green warmer, I add my transparent yellow. This yellow is my best option because the transparency makes my green luminous. It doesn't affect the value and it is a very warm yellow. The yellow holds its tinting strength really well when mixed with other colours. This gives me a warm green. Notice this green sits here on the colour wheel, so it is moving towards my warmer colours. I want to add temperature variety in this sofa, so I use this green with a bit of white. This second mix is cooler. This gives me 2 green mixes, a warm green and a cool green. I will lay these 2 greens together side by side in a broken colour effect in the lighter areas of the sofa. For my shadows, remember we have an absence of light in these areas. They will be cooler in this area, so I will use this green mix. For the really dark areas, I add some of this black red to my green. Again, I have 2 darker green mixes, a warm green and a cool green. To create that luminous light effect on my sofa, I must have my light and dark values correct and ensure I have a variety of warm and cool temperature shifts. What about the cat? Let's start with those ears. Notice in the centre we have the warm glow, so I must mix a warm brown. I use a bit of this black red, a little of this orange, and then more of this orange, which will lighten my mix. Cadmium red is the warmest red on my palette. It is also opaque. That means it will overpower everything with colour and temperature. My yellow ochre light is semi-opaque colour, which again means that it will hold its temperature and colour well in my mixes. Where I want extremely warm temperatures, which I do in the ears, I use these 2 colours. That means around the edge I must use a cooler brown. I use a bit of my black red, more of my black green and a little of my transparent yellow. Remember, due to its transparency, my yellow will not affect my value. I make sure that my green sofa carries quite a bit of yellow around those ears. This gives me 3 colour shifts, warm, cool, warm. My cat's face is very similar. I am using a warm brown in this area here, which is a combination of this black red and this orange. For the cooler, lighter browns, I am adding white to this mix and this blue. Remember, white is a cool colour and blue is the colour opposite of orange. So I have my value change, my temperature shift and my colour opposites next to each other. This creates the lighting effect on my cat's nose. For the lighter fur, I need to bear in mind how my value changes under the neck and then lightens in this area here. I also have multiple temperature shifts too. The area under the chin, I am using the colour opposites of blue and orange. I am mixing this orange with my cadmium yellow, plus I'm then adding this blue. This gives me the neutral colour you see around the cat's neck. As the light transitions, I have a halo of warm orange and it then transitions to a cooler pinky purple. I am using this purple plus my alizarin crimson plus white. Notice how I then transition from my purple to my yellow. Purple and yellow are colour opposites and give me another temperature shift. For my really light areas, I add my white. This white gives a glossy effect because it is placed next to warm yellows. Are there any tips for how to see the colour I am painting? You can use a grey or white card to help you see the colour of the object you are painting. If the object is mid-tone, place the grey card in front of it. If it is light, then use the white card. This card will help you see the colour hue of the object you are painting. Alternatively, you can do a number of colour charts for the colours you use in your palette. If you are not sure how to do this, then have a watch of this video on my channel. When trying to create luminous lighting in your paintings, make sure you get your values correct. Do not assume because your object is in the light, your value range will be light. Often values are quite dramatic when dealing with illuminated light. Make sure you shift your temperatures between warm and cool. This is really important. Look at the colour wheel to help you understand where your colours sit. Remember, everything is relative to what is next to it. Use colour opposites to help you stick to a warm, cool palette. Mix some transparent colours into your palette. Transparent colours are great because they hold their tinting strength well when mixed with white and other colours. This is useful when trying to paint illuminated light. Remember, white is a cool colour and you may need to compensate with warmer mixes like yellows and oranges when lightening your paint. Your cadmium colours are your strongest, most saturated colours on your palette. Reserve them for the areas of most intense colour and use them sparingly. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and found it useful. Please like and subscribe if you can and check out my website sarahhallidayart.com where you will find examples of my work and also details of online classes that I run. Thank you for watching and see you for the next one.